your show, I told them.
You want everybody to have their own show, don't you?
No, I don't ask everybody.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Brian Bolwood with Prospering from Your Passions. We're going to be going over the third episode of our Nuggets of Knowledge series titled Rebranding Yourself and Why Your Mission Statement Matters. In this episode, we are going to break down two more nuggets from the radio interview I did down at KPRP 6:50 a.m. with Sunny Aloha-Miller, and kind of break down for you a little bit of why each of these are important after each of the clips from the radio interview. So before we get to the first one, if you are liking the content that we're creating, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as it really helps us make sure that you don't miss out on upcoming content. We really appreciate it. But other than that, let's jump to the first clip.
Get your show, I told them.
You want everybody to have their own show, don't you?
No, I don't ask everybody. Our mission for the radio?
Enlighten, enrich,
yeah, they have to be, I have to have
Got
a
it.
sense that they're part of it.
That's awesome.
So
What
that's
a
our
great
radio.
mission.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that's our radio mission. And I said, you guys should
Can
get
I
your
say
show.
what they are for my friends that are watching?
Go ahead.
So it's enlighten, enrich, educate, entertain, and in the middle, and this is in the shape of a butterfly, the core is empower, and that's the Pinoy Power Mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. No, thank you very
I did that.
much.
Yeah.
All right, so that gave you a little bit of an idea of the mission statement for Pinoy Power Radio, which was super impressive and powerful, and it did share with us really what they're all about. This had me thinking about my mission statement for Prospering from Your Passions. So I went and did some research, and I actually tweaked mine a little bit. Before, our mission statement was motivating and inspiring entrepreneurs as well as sales and marketing professionals alike. After my research, the mission statement for Prospering from Your Passions goes as follows: motivating and inspiring entrepreneurs to build their businesses around their passions by sharing nuggets of knowledge through engaging content with authenticity, creativity, and imagination. Now, that's going to be the mission statement for Prospering from Your Passions. Going forward, Simon Sinek talks about Apple and why they're so successful. And it's because they focus on the why. And that's what people really care about. They're going to get behind the why you do something more than the what and the how. And this is so important that we make sure as entrepreneurs that we understand our why. You know, why do you get up early? Why do you study extra? Why do you put the extra time and effort in? Having this mission statement ironed out will help you basically make your decisions better and with the right intention. Back when I started my company, I had gotten out of the Navy from the nuclear power program and had no idea that I was going to become a big nightclub promoter or be on the radio and become this character nugget. But it happened, and I found a way that I could do something that I absolutely loved that I would have paid to do. I mean, I was literally paying to go to bars or clubs before, and then I found a way to get paid to do that and get other people to just come to my parties, which I wanted to do anyway. And I was able to turn it into a really viable business through many stumbles and errors and mistakes in my personal and professional life. But I really found a way to do something I love and create a business around it. When I figured out how to do that, I felt like I found the secret to life, and all I wanted to do was share that with other people. That, you know, not everybody really wants to be an entrepreneur, but I think there are a lot of people out there, maybe you're one of them, that has either started a business and wants to grow it, you know, or that really wants to be an entrepreneur but maybe is afraid or scared to take the first step, thinks they're not good enough, thinks they're not educated enough. And I wanted to share my story so that you can see that if I could create a business that was successful, that you definitely could too. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I want to be able to motivate people to know that if you're doing a job that you do not like or don't feel passionate about it, that there is another way. Entrepreneurship is a real thing that a lot of us, even through failure and setback, we get up and we go out and we set out on a business venture and we take a risk, because the reward of being able to do something that you love and create a business around it, there's nothing better than that for me. And I wanted to be able to share that feeling with other people through my story. That's why my mission statement is what it is today. We're going to get into the second clip from the radio interview, which is titled Rebranding Yourself, and then I'll expand on that after.
When I say state championship, District 49 is essentially all the islands.
Oh.
And are you familiar with Toastmasters at all, or is it? There's prepared speeches that you can write a 5 to 7 minute speech.
Okay.
And then there's something called table topics, which is where it's extemporaneous speaking, which is where they ask you a question, and then you have to answer like immediately.
Okay.
And that's the one that I competed in and won for the whole district in
really
2015.
Cool.
So yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. The question they asked me is if you could pick the mascot for Toastmasters, what would it be and why?
Okay.
And I said the lion. And it was like this whole rant that I went on about. I had just cut my hair off 2 days before.
Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody had long hair.
And everyone knew me as Nugget.
Okay.
Everyone. And for years. And then I went from that to, that was when I was like, look, I learned about branding and being able to rebrand myself and not the club Nugget guy. And I really wanted to get into public speaking and motivating and you know, just a little more serious.
You felt that people may have not take you serious with your long hair?
Well, it wasn't so much the long hair as much as the whole Nugget character. I did such a good job creating this party Nugget character that, you know, I never really looked at it as that I could rebrand myself.
You guys, it's also on YouTube.
Yeah.
His 2015 Hawaii State Championship winning Toastmasters. Wow.
All right, so that is about rebranding yourself. So for me, obviously, I came from a very different place from getting into public speaking, professional speaking, coaching. I really wanted to take my life from where it was and transform it into this life that I knew was possible. Here's a newsflash, I'm not perfect, but I really did know and believe in my heart that no matter where I was at, that there was a better place for me later, that every day was a new opportunity. And I knew that I had to create this character, Nugget, Mr. Nugget style, with the long hair and the crazy outfits. And I always said that I wanted people to look at me and be like, that guy knows where the party is. And I did a very, very good job of branding myself that way with the radio and through all the money I spent with flyers and internet marketing, Facebook, social media, even back to MySpace. And that stuck to the point that even, you know, 4 or 5 years later, after I was done club promoting, I wasn't doing anything like that anymore at all. I was more sales and marketing, you know, but I still went by Nugget. Like, nobody knew my real name really. Everyone called me Nugget for over 10 years. And I would be walking down the street or, you know, out at dinner and people would come up to me 4 or 5 years later and be like, hey, Nugget, hey, where's the party tonight? I always thought that was kind of funny. I hadn't even been to a nightclub probably in like a year at that point. And I met someone, and I started to tell this in the interview, but it never actually came out. I met someone that had a photography company. She had named it her nickname, like Ellie's Photography, and then she was doing these destination weddings where she was making tons of money, and she really wanted to rebrand herself to be more professional, and I always thought that was really cool. So she rebranded it as her real name, and when she did that, I was like, wow, that's so crazy. You know, she was like, yeah, I'm rebranding myself. She had a coach, and this was a few years ago, but I never thought of that. I never thought about rebranding myself. So I literally went through what I called killing Nugget, and I went through all my social media and everything, and I took away anything that had anything to do with Nugget or Nugget Style Productions. And some of my friends didn't like it, and they were like, oh, I don't want to call you Brian Boltwood, and you know, you never let us call you Brian before. And I really don't care. I think it's funny. It's a nickname. It has a big part of my life. But for that time in my life, and when I was doing the Toastmasters Championship, it was so important to me that I take on this new identity. And I was researching this, and I found something by Harvard Business Review, which I want to read to you, by Dory Clark. And it said, especially in the internet era, traces of your old brand will never completely disappear. And as long as you're thoughtful about what you've learned along the way, that's okay. The challenge is to be strategic about identifying how you wish to be perceived, developing a compelling story that explains your evolution, and then spreading that message. I always felt this in my heart, and I knew that I wanted to be this professional speaker, coach, but it didn't mean that just because I had long hair that I wasn't this typical person that you think of as a speaker at that point in my life, that I couldn't do it. And it was just not who I wanted to be anymore in my life. I had grown out of that, and I wanted to move on to the next phase of my life. And Brian Boltwood's kind of a cool name too. And I just ran with it, and it worked for me, and I'm happy that I did it. And for yourself, if you have a certain image or branding that you've created for yourself in your personal life, your business, in your company, you're able to go and undo that, redo that, and go out and set your expectations for yourself. Like, who do you want to be? Take the actions necessary to do that. I know that cutting my hair, changing my name, going through social media with people, I started surrounding myself with different people, going, instead of going to nightclubs, I would go to networking events. I would read instead of go dancing. There's so many different things that I would do, but I actually became the person that I wanted to be. Toastmasters was a big part of my journey. It's a leadership and public speaking program. One of the things that I learned from James Malinchak, who was the secret millionaire when I went to Los Angeles for his Get Paid to Speak at College program that he did a few years back, was something called MESS Turning Point Success. And every speaker pretty much that you've heard of or that I follow, almost all of them have the story of, I was living in a bus stop or under a bench, and then this thing happened, and then now look at me. And that's kind of the overall basic idea that I get from MESS Turning Point Success. But I think most of our lives have that. I am no exception. I have been through so much adversity, but I'm happy with who I am today, and still mostly happy to be striving to be better tomorrow than I am today, just a little bit better. And I hope to never lose sight of that. And for yourself, I urge you to do the same thing, and know that it is possible that if you're not who you want to be today, that tomorrow is a new day, and that rebranding yourself is totally possible. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. That wraps up the third episode from Nuggets of Knowledge. So if you really like the video, go ahead and hit the like button down below. Subscribing to our channel would really support us a lot. And if you don't want to miss out on the content, hit the notification button. Leave me a comment below. Let me know which of these two nuggets was your favorite, or the one that you resonated with the most. And we look forward to seeing you next week on the 4th episode of Nuggets of Knowledge with Prospering from Your Passions. I'm Brian Boltwood. Aloha.